y'all are not going to like this training because y'all are about to be seen AF. What we're talking about today is why you are so uncomfortable asking for help and accepting it. Hey, what's up? My name is Johnna Renée. I am a certified evidence-based life coach here to teach you all of the ish I wish someone told me about self-discovery, self-acceptance, and self-love so that you can be who you need to be in order to live the life that you want. And I do that by teaching you evidence-based techniques and research-backed practices to help you actually create sustainable behavioral change. And so I'm going to be sharing some of my insights today and ish that I wish someone would have told me about why it's hard to ask for help and why we oftentimes are so dang uncomfortable accepting help and compliments from others. So stay tuned to hear about that and let's dive in. So first of all, why is it so hard? Well, admitting that you need help can make you feel weak, especially if you grew up being very independent, right? And so when you grow up in this space where you were taught to do for yourself, if you were the older sibling, if you were an only child, that's me, then when you admit that you need help, when you accept help, then that can make you feel weak. It can be unfamiliar, even if it's what's best, because we don't always go to what's best for us, we go to what's familiar. And so that's one reason. Another reason that accepting help and compliments can be so hard is because you could be protecting yourself from disappointment, right? Like let's say that the assistance provided isn't up to your standards and you're like, oh, well, I just now have to do double work because I told them how to do this. They didn't do it to my expectations. Now I got to do it again. So I might as well have just done it myself the first time. Right. And another reason, a third reason, there's four that I have here for us today, is that you could have a lack of trust that others have the capacity to help you. And if you feel that someone helps, then they're not necessarily doing it out of the kindness of their hearts, but because they want something in return and there's an expectation. So you are feeling like if they do this thing to help you, then you're somehow indebted to them. And then the last reason why it is so hard for us to accept help and compliments is because you might not feel worthy, right? It might be that you feel that you are a burden, that, you aren't pulling your weight. And if that's the case, I mean, that just screams like self-worth trauma all day. So those are the reasons why it can be so hard for us to accept help and or ask for help and even to accept, compliments when people offer us those. And, the reason that this is so important is because people like to help, right? It makes the other person feel valuable. They're being of service. And when you show up in a vulnerable way and admit that you need help, it creates the opportunity for connection in a deep and meaningful way because you are then, telling that person like, hey, like I'm in a vulnerable state, and you are creating the safe space for them to potentially show the same level of vulnerability in the future, right? And besides that, when you allow yourself to receive help, you are often going to experience positive emotions and a sense of love and belonging because you will be being cared for, which is, evident of all different kinds of benefits to your emotional and physical well-being. So helping others and allowing yourself to be helped is all really good stuff. And with that, how do we do it? Like, how do we allow ourselves to receive help and how do we ask for help? Well, depending on how much you have been resisting, you are going to kind of have to create a whole new identity in a way. No big deal, just a new identity, just, order one off of Amazon. But I say that, but creating a new identity, allowing yourself to be helped, especially if you're in the position where you have not allowed that for so long, it can be really uncomfortable. And so what I mean when I say creating a new identity is that if you've adopted this persona of, I don't need anybody, then admitting that you do is a pretty radical shift. And it's going to also shift your relationship dynamics, right? And so you can start to do that with baby steps, little bitty baby steps. And that looks like getting curious about where the resistance is. What is it about the ask for help or the acceptance or both that feels so ugh to you, right? Like, where is the resistance there when it comes to that? Where's the discomfort? And if this is something that, you don't want to feel like you're a burden, then okay, awesome. We have identified the what. So once you have that, let's say in this example, you can then start to ask yourself, why? Why do I feel that accepting help or asking help would make me come across as a burden? And you can start to talk to yourself and, have a conversation and get curious so that you can start to see, oh, wow, maybe this person wants to help me because they care about me, you know? And when you allow them to do that, you're enriching the relationship dynamic, like I mentioned earlier, because you are trusting them and then they are feeling that they are providing a value to you. And so it's really a win-win in that way, right? And when you show up authentically, like I said, it sets this perfect stage for people to do the same. And so by being your vulnerable self and accepting help, you are indirectly giving them the permission to do the same. And it's really a sigh of relief and it's really a beautiful thing. And so this also looks at the same type of a parallel whenever we are talking about compliments, right? Because if you're someone who can't take a compliment or who doesn't want to take a compliment or uncomfortable taking a compliment, like ask yourself why. Like, what is it about, feeling that someone can say something nice about me without having to automatically say something nice back, right? Like, why can you not just receive the compliment and the acknowledgement and be grateful for that and thank them for noticing? Like, why is it, and maybe it's not, but if you're watching this, then I'm assuming you're having a problem accepting help and or compliments. And so why is it that, you resist that? Where is the resistance coming from, right? Like, what is it about the compliment that makes you feel uncomfortable? And then from there, once you've realized the what and the where, again, going into asking yourself why. And this is really a powerful consideration because this is going to help you get to know yourself more. This is going to help you get to understand, what it is about you and your level of trust with others and your vulnerability within yourself. And so this is really a pretty cool practice. And this was a super short video today. My invitation for you for today is to allow yourself to be helped. And if that feels like way too much from the get, then just notice when you are experiencing resistance, either asking for help or accepting help or accepting a compliment, and start to consider what about that you're resisting and where it's coming from. And then if it feels okay, maybe ask yourself why and start to get curious about that as well. I say that with the disclaimer that this is not to judge yourself for anything, right? This is to simply become aware. Whenever you have that data, then you are empowered with the decision to leverage it in a way that serves you, because you get to decide what to do with that information once you have it. But you can't do anything with it if you aren't aware of it. And so that is the first step. So that is my invitation to you. And that is what I'm asking you to do. Just simply become aware of where you are experiencing resistance to accepting help, to asking for help, and to accepting a compliment. So that's what I've got for you today. Share this with someone that needs to see it, please. And I will see you next week. And like I said, if it feels really good for you, maybe even allow yourself to accept and or ask for help. And just leave it at that. All right, cool. Thank you for watching. and I will see you soon. Bye.